Good evening, everybody. Welcome to CW Live. My name's Chris Webb, Head of Communications at the CWU. This week, as we've been advertising, is Heart Unions Week, but for the CWU, Solidarity is 52 weeks a year, including Christmas. So we're delighted to be putting on a session tonight for our colleagues in the GMB to support them. British gas workers have taken over 2 weeks of strike action in a really bitter dispute with their employer. Have been fantastic in holding that strong. We've been doing all we can to support them, including supporting their strike fund. But we felt that, the two unions have lots of similarities. We want to get out there tonight. We want to show that message of solidarity and show exactly what trade unionism really means. So really pleased tonight to be joined by, of course, our General Secretary, Dave Ward. But also tonight, we've got Hazel Nolan, who's an organiser at the GMB and doing a fantastic job, one of the leading figures in the dispute. And we've got Paul Vowles, who is on the front line, if you like, GMB rep, and also a British Gas member who's taking strike action. So, welcome to Hazel and Paul, and also to Dave. What the plan is tonight, we want you, if you can, to give us as many messages of solidarity from you as postal, telecom and financial services workers. We'll put all them up on screen. We'll have a really good session. We also launched today a fundraiser for the GMB, some CW mugs, which are going down really well. We've sold over 400, and you can get them in the link that I've just put on screen for you there. Please purchase, because £2 from every mug goes straight into the GMB strike funds to help the British gas workers who will continue in their dispute with the company. So that's massively important. What I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to go to Hazel and ask Hazel to just basically outline what the issues are in the dispute, the issue of fire and rehire we've heard so much about, and what we can do as a union to support. So over to you, Hazel.
Brilliant. Thank you so much to both yourself, Chris, and to Dave and all the members of CWU. And we're proud in GMB to stand shoulder to shoulder with you as well. Many of your members might be familiar with this, because our members in British Gas, like your members, really stood up when it came to the first wave of coronavirus last year, and were key workers in the pandemic. Members of ours in GMB who work for British Gas volunteered to go into the homes of people who they knew had COVID in order to keep them warm and keep them safe. And while they were doing that, their company, British Gas, was busy behind the scenes plotting to destroy their terms and conditions. And effectively, what they did was they served us with a Section 188 notice, which is fire and rehire, at the start of the negotiation, not at the end when they felt they hadn't made any progress, but at the very start of the process. So they expected us to negotiate with a gun to our head. And we continued to go into negotiations. And then the company are the ones who walked away from the table just before Christmas and said, that's it, we're sick of talking to you. You can either like it or lump it. And if you don't like these worst terms and conditions, you're going to get sacked. What that means is that for people like Paul and for many of our members, some of them have been working for British Gas since longer than I've been alive, they won't get a single penny of redundancy pay. And this is a trend that we're starting to see unions having to face, such as Unite when it comes to British Airways, and I think again there's an issue in Tesco's happening up in Scotland as well. It's a way of companies trying to play real hardball and use this loophole in the law to get around having to pay redundancy and to get around having to negotiate with unions. It's the ultimate act of betrayal and bad faith, and our members in British Gas have been faced with the only choice. When you deal with a bully, you can either take it or you can stand up to them. And we represent 90% of the engineers in British Gas, and they've taken a stand, and they've done 16 days of action now since February. And on Friday, they'll be going into potentially day 17. And our members, you'll hear from one of our amazing strikers in a minute. They want to be on strike. It's a very cold winter at the moment, but GMB didn't pick this fight, and the members didn't pick this fight. The company did, and they picked the timing for the fight being winter as well. But our members are taking a stand. We're incredibly proud of them, and for a lot of them, they've seen how other companies are acting, and they know that there's a lot of pressure, because other companies will be watching how GMB and how our members in British Gas are reacting to the company's fire and rehire threat. And the impact of this, if British Gas get away with it, I think a lot of companies will be looking to follow suit. So this is a struggle that isn't just about terms and conditions in British Gas. It's also a struggle for the whole labour movement. And we're really, really, thrilled to have the support of CWU in this.
Thank you, Hazel. That's fantastic, and gives our members a real sort of outline of where the disputes come from, where it's originated, and why it's so important, as you outlined there, that we win this dispute, and not just for the GMB, for the workers as a whole in the UK. I hope you could see there. I know you were concentrating all the messages of support that are flooding up on screen, trying to keep pace. So we've got hundreds, which is fantastic. We've had about 2,000 people logged in so far to the session, which is great. So thanks to all our members. Please keep sharing the link though and getting out there as far and wide as possible. Let's have many, many more online. I'm going to come now to, if I can, to Paul. So Paul, you're on the front line. You're taking strike action. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience, mate? And you're on mute as well.
So like Hazel said there at the start of all this, you know, we felt a great sort of pride that we were key workers and we were out there, you know, working in COVID positive houses, and the company were encouraging us to work in COVID positive houses. They were also encouraging us to deliver food banks for the Trussell Trust in the name of British Gas. So that's what we did, and we were so proud to do that. And then, like Hazel said, meanwhile at the same time, they were hatching a plan to strip us of our terms and conditions. And the big effects for me, really, I mean, I've got two baby daughters, as you can see up there, and you know, they mean the absolute world to me. And this really strips away the family time that I get with them, and that's just why I can't accept the contract the way it is, because it can take up to 8 hours a week from my family time. And as you can imagine, you know, 8 hours up to 8 hours a week. I mean, the headline is the 3 hours a week, but it actually can make us start half an hour earlier and end the day half an hour later, depends on certain circumstances. So as you can imagine, that's going to have a massive impact on my lifestyle. It can also make us work on limited amounts of weekends. It's going to change our core hours from 7 a.m. in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, which means that they can make us work at any point that they want to, from 7 a.m. till 9, and that's 7 days a week as well. So into Sundays and Saturdays. So as you can imagine, with having a young family and a wife who works full time as well, that's just going to have an horrendous impact on my family life. So that's what's, you know, it's just causing so much stress and anxiety for everyone within British Gas. You know, we haven't been able to do our jobs properly now since the fire and rehire was issued. It's just been constant stress, anxiety, sleepless nights. I mean, I see myself as being quite a strong character normally. You know, I've been in the armed forces, and this has had a massive effect on me and my family. And I can't describe going through fire and rehire. It's obviously we all have things in our life that become stressful, but as regards my working life, fire and rehire and going through this process has been the most stressful thing I've ever done in my working career. You know, we're getting to a point now where there is obviously talks with ACAS, and we're hoping for some kind of resolution, fingers crossed. But it's taken a monumental effort to get to this point, and I'm so proud of the British Gas engineers and the way that everyone stood together in solidarity. It's just been inspiring that we've saw something that was so wrong and so unjust to do this against key workers, and we've just taken it on. We've stuck together. We've stayed on our pickets. We've done absolutely everything we can. We've kept the social media campaign going as best we can, and you can follow that, by the way, on hashtag Stop the British Gas Fire. If anybody didn't know about that, so it's a great way of supporting us. Just going on there, hashtag Stop the British Gas Fire, and you can just look at the whole story and everything that's happened, and now we've managed to galvanise everybody, and you know it's just grown and grown and grown, and we just feel like an unstoppable force at the moment, to be honest, out there, and it's just been fantastic to see. I've never our workforce is obviously we work a lot on our own in the field, so we don't always see people. We have team meetings every now and again, but particularly through COVID, you don't see anybody. So we've had to unite using WhatsApp and social media, and to just be able to unite how we have without being able to even really see each other apart from on the pickets, which have had to be restricted to smaller numbers. It's just been incredible, really. I've never felt the workforce be so united in my whole 18 years of British Gas, and it's taken that unity to get us to a point where it looks like we might be able to get a win.
Thanks, Paul. Inspiring, mate, and lots of positive comments from our members, and I hope you can see them. I know you're on the phone, but people saying that one branch saying they donated £200 a day. Lots of people saying they're chucking into the strike fund, so everyone's right behind you. Dave, I'm going to come to you now, just for a CWU viewpoint, I suppose.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's a pleasure to have Paul and Hazel on here tonight to talk about the British Gas dispute. The actions of the company are deplorable. This is a company, the parent company, Centrica, who actually made an operating profit last year of over £900 million. CEO, who's on over £800,000 a year. And these are the actions of a company against workers who, as Paul and Hazel have said, have gone above and beyond throughout this pandemic. They're classified as key workers. We've stood outside, we've clapped them. We've clapped all key workers. And, it just makes us angry to know that employers are exploiting this particular pandemic. And that if we allow them to stand on their own, if we allow employers like this, like we faced in Royal Mail, like we're facing now in BT, to continue to exploit these situations, well, they will. And the only way you change that is through that word solidarity and taking action. And what our union is trying to do, as well as always standing up for our own members and doing whatever it takes to try and protect our members' jobs and enhance their terms and conditions, it's important that CWU members, and it's great to see so many of you on there tonight, that you recognise that what the CWU is trying to do is see trade unionism in its widest possible context, because it's never been more important for trade unions to stand together. It's never been more important for us to come together and find the core reasons why we all have to take at some point collective campaigning action in support of a new deal for workers. So the CWU is going to continue to press for the new deal. This is a moment where disputes like the GMB dispute makes the case for all workers coming together greater than ever. So, really pleased to see you guys on there. We'll do whatever it takes to support you. And, that feeling of solidarity that you talked about, Paul, is a great moment in any trade union. And it's a moment where you have to build on things. These things are not always win or lose. You have to build and you have to move forward. And I know with the strength that you've shown as a union and with the backing of the wider trade union movement, that you'll get a result and that you'll win this dispute. So to our members, two things: get behind these guys. Yes, we continue to fight on our own issues, particularly at the moment within BT, against BT management and the actions that they're taking, but use it as an inspirational moment that proves that when you stand together, you move workers forward everywhere. And that's the message from the CWU. Let's also get behind a new deal in the UK for all workers.
Thank you, Dave. So hopefully you guys have been able to, I know you've all been concentrating, getting a flavour. I think we've had about 500 comments. We've had about 4,500 people online, which is great. And our members really do understand what solidarity means. And we know that your union and you guys as individuals have given that support previously. And that's what trade unionism is. What I'm going to do now is just ask each of you really just to, for a minute or so, just to give any final points that you're really keen to get across tonight to our members, to your members, to the company, or to anyone else who may be watching. First of all, Hazel, I'm going to come to you if that's okay.
Yeah, thank you. I think that Dave hit the nail there, and it's the process of industrial relations that builds a union. It is in the standing up. Solidarity is a verb first and foremost. And there's lots of our members in British Gas that have never been out in industrial action before. And I know that one thing that they do have in common, Paul touched on it, that is similar to a lot of your members in CWU, is that they work in isolation a lot of the time. And that's really hard. And the thing we all need to remember is that companies, whether it's BT or Royal Mail or it's British Gas or wherever it is, they win when they make you, a worker, feel like you're on your own. And being in the union means you are never on your own, because together we have strength. And we've tried to describe how we're trying to turn this company, and it's a huge, huge company. It's like the old adage that I've always had is that you can take a hair from your head and you can snap it easily. You bind 1,000 together and you can pull a truck. That is the power of the trade union movement. And we're seeing it in British Gas, and we see it in CWU as well. And our members in British Gas will never forget that you stood with us in this time. And when it's your time to stand, we'll be standing with you as well. And I think that we're going through a period of industrial relations now with the Tories in government, and they're ripping up the rights that trade unions had hard won and fought for. And actually, this is a moment for the trade union movement. It's a moment for all of us, and we should all take a stand. And the first win is when you decide to stand up. And I hope that the struggle in British Gas inspires everyone in CWU and across the movement in the same way that your struggles have inspired us in turn in the past as well. So thank you so much again on behalf of all of our members. We really appreciate it. Solidarity.
Thank you, Hazel. Very inspiring. I'm going to come to you, Paul, just to give you a heads up. You are muted still, mate, my friend, but give you your last message.
Yeah, I just want to say a massive, massive thank you for the support, and also for people who've supported the strike funds. It's so appreciated. The support that we've had from the public and other unions and celebrities. We've even had Judge Ringer supporting us. Across the board, we've had so much support, and that has just been a real tonic to keep everybody going. So I really just want to echo what Hazel said about, I started this off and it was all about my family. It was all about my family time. It was all about my members and about me. But I've ended this dispute now, and it's about more than that. It's about the wider society. British Gas Engineers, the same as a lot of the people who your union represents. We're upstanding members of the community that have been key workers, and we should be respected. We should be respected. When someone sees the British Gas van turn up, they're happy because they know that person in that van is going to be a trusted member of the community who's going to get their central heating working or their house working again. During this pandemic, I've been out to people's houses who haven't seen people for weeks and weeks on end. I've changed light bulbs. That's not part of the job. I've made cups of tea for elderly ladies. I've even gone out to get shopping for elderly ladies. And this is the thing that a lot of these big corporations don't see. It's the extra things that we do within the community. And on top of that now, I feel like it's our duty to try and get fire and rehire made illegal, to try and work for workers' rights. And as Hazel said, it's important that all unions work together now and we become strong. I've seen the strength in the union from this dispute. I've seen how unbelievable it can be for people power and what it can turn around. If everybody sticks together all the way through, you get what you want. People power cannot be broken when people are together. And it's so important that whatever disputes you come across, that you all just stick together. Stick together and you win. Be divided and you lose.
Thanks, Paul. Very much like Hazel, really, really inspiring, making lots of positive comments for you both individually and for your members who are going through the struggle you're going through now. So I think what I want to do now is, first of all, say thank you to you two for coming on the session. It's been really invaluable to our members. Got some fantastic feedback and masses of support, which is great. I also want to thank all the members who have come on, and I want to hand over to Dave, our General Secretary, for a moment or two to just close out the session. Over to you, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I mean, look, they were great contributions, Hazel and Paul. And to listen to people who are directly involved in a strike at the moment and what it means to them, what it means to their families is always inspiring. And, what we've got to do as a trade union now is recognise that our role is to support these workers, to support all workers that are in struggle. And the way we're going to do that over the coming weeks and months, we're going to commit a lot of time across the movement to talking about this New Deal campaign for workers. We've got to build struggle in this country amongst workers. We've got to build opposition against the exploitation that's taking place from some of these companies. We've got to change the way these companies operate. And the only people that are going to do that is trade union workers, organised workers coming together. So fantastic that you've come on tonight. Fantastic that we've been able to give you this short platform. And I know both Paul and Hazel that our members and the activists in our union are 100% behind you. So thanks very much. Best of luck. Solidarity from the CWU.